I went for a run after yesterday, and all I could see was this move. I was talking to Eric Hansen, and he said, I normally think about chess positions when I work out, so I'm sure you're going to be seeing moves when you go for your run. I said I will only see one thing, and it's this, and this, but mainly this. I did not see this in the game, but the main reason, I was still stuck in my defensive thinking here, and then I thought, he comes down with this guy, and I felt this doesn't really add more attacks immediately to me. And what I thought here when he comes down, I actually had some reasoning, is that he comes down and his idea might be to double his rooks, is what feels the most immediate, because otherwise he should probably come down all the way here to abuse this pin.
Excellent.
So he should have come down here probably. Would be better, but I was thinking if he doubles his rooks, I'll go here, and he won't be able to use his doubled rook because I have check promotion. So I actually thought about something, but then I missed, a pretty spicy fork. So yeah.
But now that you have explained that you already saw the rook
I
being
did
doubled
have
on the
17
e5, and then
seconds
you have
here.
a pawn to promote. I mean, that is impressive too.
I did have 17 seconds or something here, so I just saw this, thought this looks okay, and went with it. I'm not under immediate, I'm dying danger, is what I thought, so I just missed a little fork.
Yeah. It's alright. It's alright, since you're already a piece up. It's not like the end of the world that you missed this opportunity. It would have been even more material, but the position is winning regardless after c takes b2. It's good that you noticed that later that you had that chance. Did you see it, by the way, in the game? Did you? Because he moves away.
No,
so
I actually didn't have time to even. I did not recognize this in the game at all. That this. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
That this position even occurred. I did not recognize it. So yeah, because it quickly. He moved very quickly as well after I moved.
Yeah.
So if this position had time to actually. If I had time to actually soak up this position, I would have seen it and beat myself a bit over that, but I didn't recognize it. It was only after the game I learned it, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but sometimes it's better. I was gonna tell you that in this case, it's not that big of a difference because your position is winning with a piece up. It would also be winning with a rook up, so it's still a great position. But in other cases, there will be positions where if you miss your tactical opportunity, you may be just on equal material, or you may be down material, and those moments will be more difficult sometimes during the game. If you notice it the move later, I don't know if you were watching day one of the coverage of some of the matches.
I watched all of it. Yeah,
you watched all of it. For instance, when Grip played against Scissors, and Scissors didn't take Grip's rook, which was hanging, and then he noticed it. But he noticed it the move later.
Yes, and he beat himself up hard about it. Yeah. Scissors felt to me very emotional player when he plays. It was very fun match to see, and I was cheering for GripX anyway, because first of all he plays League, which is. Normally we're supposed to hate each other, but at least he plays the same type of game that I play, and he's Danish, which I'm also supposed to hate Danish people, but he's Scandinavian, so because he plays the right type of game and is Scandinavian, I supported him.
Makes sense. And you read very well, Scissors, that his emotions were getting the better of him, because he then, for the next couple of moves, he was still thinking about that missed chance, and
he was
his
stuck
position
on that.
was still fine, but he was stuck indeed, and that's very dangerous in a game, because you need to. It's not easy, but you need to put it aside. It happened. It's in the past. A new page.
Yeah, and
think of the current position.
And that's something as well. One of those things where I think being a Dota player will have a benefit for me, because we have that principle is so true in Dota 2. You cannot make a mistake and then be stuck on it for the rest of the game. You have to immediately let go of the fact that, okay, that was bad, and I'll try to solve. So I think coming from another game that has the same type of punishment, if you get hooked up on a bad thing, I think helps me.
excellent. I see you're using a lot of your Dota experience.
Oh, it
in
actually
this
helps.
tournament.
I think our games are very similar, apart from, because I've actually explained it to my grandfather and my grandparents as a 5 versus 5 chess video game, sort of. It's like it is very similar in many ways. So that's how I explain it to my very old grandparents, so they sort of understand.
Now I will understand it too, because I was asking yesterday after we had the coaching session scheduled. I was asking Kevin, my boyfriend. He plays League sometimes with his friends, and also we had a few of his friends around. They play League too. I tried to play League, but like once on stream, and I'm terrible at it. But I still don't even understand. I know this is gonna be like, what is she even talking about? But like I was asking them, what's the difference between League and Dota? And I know I shouldn't say things like that, but I don't understand fully. Like, because for me, I don't know anything about League either.
Sure.
So I just see it's a 5v5. So I'll need to take Dota lessons. I need to take Dota lessons.
I can briefly say that I played Dota for about 35,000 hours. I started 17 years ago. And League is a game that came up as a Dota clone, so it's based off Dota in the original, and League is very much aiming to be more casual and approach the younger audience and be more approachable. Dota is difficult, and it's not fun the first 100 hours. It's not gonna be fun. You're gonna be bad. It's a punishing game that's really hard until you know a lot of things and have experienced it. So League, I mean, I know we have 2 League players in the tournament. You can feel free to call me out on this, but League is an easier game than Dota, and Dota is just, it's the more complicated of the two. It's a Dota elitism. While I support you guys in your games, I will still be real here. And I have a standing challenge to any of the League players if we play, but yeah, if I beat a League player, I want him to play a day of Dota, and if he beats me, I will play a day of League. That's a standing challenge I have to any of the 2 League players if we play.
I didn't know there's so much at stake.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, our 2 communities are very much rivaling communities. So I would do a 24-hour League stream if I know that he would do one if he loses.
I'm gonna pass this on. We can clip that part of the stream and like, pass it on to the League players when you face them. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. So yeah.
But thank you for the explanation, because I didn't know. I know I should be ashamed of it, but I didn't know about the difference.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly reasonable. I mean, at least you've heard of the game. Not everyone knows that Dota exists. League is way more popular. It's a bigger game.
I think I knew of Dota before League, not because League didn't exist, but in the chess community, there are a couple of grandmasters that really like Dota. I don't know if you heard of Jan Nepomniachtchi.
Oh, I haven't heard, but I'll have to reach out to some of them.
Yeah, no, he streams on Twitch, and I think he competed at some of the Dota events. He's one of the top grandmasters in Russia. He's on the Olympic team of Russia.
That's super cool.
And he's absolutely in love with Dota.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
That's super cool. Yeah, I knew that we had some Dota professional players who were also like city. One guy was the champion of his area in Russia in chess. PGG for my chat was a chess champion as well. So there's some, I know that there's been some overlap in people who are talented in both.
I'm being told that Nepomniachtchi played Dota 1, so maybe that's why you didn't see him. But
old school guy.
I think he's still a fan.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
And thank you so much, everyone, also for the link to Jan's in my chat. I'll pass it to Nicholas after the stream. But now let's focus on what we are here for. Is that you're competing in PogChamps too, and even though you missed that fork, you won the game afterwards. It's you already said that after Rookie 5 you saw this motive that the queen is pinning your pawn, so the knight on h5 is hanging. Very well spotted. That So you play this move quickly. In terms of time management, though, because you said at this stage you already were low on time. How did you feel about that? Did it make you more nervous?
Oh, this queen move or my time in general?
The time.
Okay, yeah. No, I was actually not nervous at all about the time. Okay. I know that I went low, but like I said, I've played only like 4 games with +5. And I felt like, wow, I have so much time when I'm down to 20. It's actually not over, because I'm used to playing Blitz and like straight up losing on time if I'm down to 20. Yeah. But in this time control, I feel pretty confident. Maybe it could have been worse if he didn't play the queen and just keep complicating the situation. But I felt like I felt confident that I've dealt with the main attack here and that I can simplify. And then the moves are going to be easier now. That's what I felt.
Exactly. It's great that even though this is your first chess tournament, you didn't feel nervous about the time situation during this game either. Because I know you told me in general with the increment you feel safe, but I was curious if it made any difference that yesterday was your first ever tournament game at chess, and if it affected you in any way. But it's great that it didn't.
No, I was aware of my time going low, and when I was, when this attack was starting, I did feel like somewhere around back here, I think I was already down to like 1 minute and 30 seconds or something, and I recognized that I didn't have much time, but I felt fine with it. It didn't make me so nervous. My girlfriend said that it made her really nervous watching it, and my chat similarly was saying stuff like that. But no, I think I just see the time as a resource, and I try to use it.
Then it's good. Yes, I saw it in your community, and a couple of your viewers asked me to talk to you about time management. But if we are fine, then I think we are good. It's only that if it comes to an Armageddon or a Blitz game as a tiebreaker in the knockout, then
it's a mentality switch, right? Because
exactly.
That's what I noticed from the Scissors and GripX is that Scissors was not mentality switched to Armageddon. Yeah. He was going very slow, and he was thinking about previous moves still. So you just have to play passable, fast moves. Does not have to be perfect. Just try to do natural development and just do stuff.
Yeah.
If
Matthew's
that happens.
Telling me that I should ignore you and you need to be faster.
Don't listen to him.
I'll work on it. You're very
it.
right about the mentality, and that's what happened to Scissors. I fully agree. He lost on time in the Armageddon because he couldn't switch, and it's difficult to switch because you're just coming from 2 10+5 games, and then to switch to Blitz mode is not easy at all. It happens on the highest level of chess too, when you have seen some of the events and Hikaru competing, and it happens even to the very best in the world. Hikaru, Magnus, and all the rest of the top grandmasters, sometimes they find that difficult to switch when you need to, but it's part of the competition. It's difficult for both players.
Yeah, from here on, I just felt the moment I saw this queen move, I felt now super confident. I feel like I've won the game the moment he moved this queen. So now, because the reason being, I just trade down and it's simplifying, so time pressure is not so annoying anymore. That's basically it.
You're right that after the queen trade, it's already an easy endgame with the piece up. Here in this moment, I'm sure that you calculated somewhat what happens if he takes, but I'm just going to quickly ask you what was going to be your response without moving the pieces, of course, if he takes the rook on d8.
Take with this. This is what I was thinking.
Yeah, you can take back with that so that the bishop is not hanging.
Yeah, because
any other move that would come to your mind now? That's a great move, of course. No need to.
Well, I was thinking during the game. Yeah, the entire reason that I said before that I wanted to have this pawn here so I can just promote with check, and then that would be. Then I could retake afterwards, or find some other attacking idea afterwards. So
excellent. So both taking back with the bishop, but even stronger if you promote with a check and then take the rook. Yeah. Well done. Yes, and from here on the game was basically over, as you said. You took the rook as well, and you converted very, very convincingly this first game. In the second game, were there any moments where you thought that you had any doubts, or if we briefly look at the second game too?
Yeah, we can look at it. I felt not really doubts. I felt like I wasn't certain that I was better at one point. If you recall, the point I was thinking about moving my rook, my my A1 rook over to the C1 file. I felt, is this truly better? But then, yeah, after I managed to push his queen away and that pawn was hanging, then I felt good. But before that, I was just uncertain of how to make it winning. It felt kind of closed. I mean, I was playing the London, so it's not meant to be explosive perhaps in the early game, but I just wasn't sure that it was better in the beginning.
Yeah, it makes sense. And as you said, in the London, it's not so easy to get the winning position in 8 moves. It's normally a closed position where mistakes may come at a later stage. Can you see that I changed the board? Does it still show you?
Yeah, I'll flip it as well, so I'm on the... Oops.
Yes, so you play the London system. The Mountain played bishop f5 and e6. That's a nice
symmetrical start. But now
exactly.
It changes.
Yeah, very solid. But after the trade, at least there's a bit of a difference. And if he takes, which he did, then the pawn structure becomes somewhat different. These small differences can make the game more exciting. I'm sure you realize that if it's a completely mirror position, it can be very dull if everything is the same.
In the beginning, yeah, but I feel fine if they mirror, because white is still the first guy to move, so you have all the chances to change.
Exactly. If you have the white pieces, you don't mind the mirror. Once there's a capture, you're the first to take the pieces.
Yeah.
Good. And now, because of the pawn structure has changed, you doubled the pawns, but that helps you have a stronger control of the center and the semi-open c file, which later you managed to use for your rook. Queen to b3 is a very logical move, because after the bishop is gone from c8, this pawn on b7 is vulnerable.
That's why I went there. I feel he has to move that pawn. So I'm kind of getting there for free, is what I feel. Like my queen is getting off the d1 sort of for free.
Very good thinking that you are winning a tempo basically with that move. If I were to play, I'm just going to make a different move for Hafthor. b6 is logical. I'm just curious, if he had developed the knight, what would you play here?
I think I would most likely feel like this is a trap. I would feel like this is good, but after he goes here, he's kicking me off and he's looking at this. So I didn't evaluate this because it didn't happen really in the end, but I think I would not have taken this and just done this or this. Wait, whoops. Or this. One of those two.
Excellent that you wouldn't take the pawn. I'm going to ask you to visualize that position after queen takes b7, and what would you play there if it was your game with the black pieces?
I guess there's another thing you can do. I was first thinking if takes here, goes here, which obviously pushes on a straight line back, and that also makes it so I can't actually retreat, can I? Am I just trapped and dead?
Let's see. Let's visualize that. So queen takes b7, and then you mark that rook move. Where can the white queen go?
Well, we can take this, is what we can do. And I think that's the only safe option, right? But it is taking a second pawn. So that seems like, because I'm just gonna do this. This is what I normally do when I play, is I try to mark the not safe squares.
Excellent.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect.
So
I also call it safe or not safe.
When I'm really struggling in a puzzle or in a situation I need to calculate, yeah, this shows that my queen has in total one move right now. So yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, I guess if black defends, then I go here. I'm not sure what black does after.
So queen takes b7, and we are looking for a move for black in that position. What do you think is the strongest move?
Yeah, it's I mean, black would really want to have both the rooks. Wait, would it? Am I missing that he should take or go here with this guy from the first place instead of? I feel like there's a queen trap if he went here instead. Correct?
I'm gonna ask you to double check that and tell me if that is correct.
I just assumed that he's gonna make this move, but I'm blind to that he could make this move. I'm gonna wait. Take. He goes here, and I already calculated that there was no safe square apart from this one, and now there's a rook staring at it. So I'm dead. My queen is gonna die.
Excellent! You trapped the queen. You
I did it.
The game. Well done.
Trapped my own queen.
You did it.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that this rook would come over, but I would be avert to the idea of just charging in alone with the queen. I try to think to myself that the queen should have help when she does stuff, and a rook on the c file, for instance, would be already nice, or connecting my rooks before.
Excellent. It's good that you already were cautious about that queen takes b7 move without even seeing that the queen gets trapped. So yeah, it's good that you think of it like the queen needs help. You cannot just go into the opponent's camp with one piece. Normally, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. No, I mean, initially, this move did come with the idea of this, but I had not fully calculated what happens if I take.
Yeah.
But I think I think I would try to before I do this, because it still looks scary. There's a lot of like going into this this part of the board where there's I mean there's seven black pieces, and I'd be the only white piece over there. It looks terrifying to commit my queen to it.
Very good that you have that alarm system telling you that it may not be the safest, and it still is a good move. So I think queen b3 is still a very strong move, because you want your opponent to be afraid of threats. So whether it's in this moment it's hanging because there's a knight on b8, so first in the position where you play it is a threat. But even if he already had the knight on d7, you can still make it look like it's a threat. So it's always all right to make moves like that, because chess is about outsmarting your opponent and giving them more and more room for error. Just give them opportunities to go wrong. So the more threats or threat-looking moves you make, the easier it is for them to go wrong, or at least just start be worried, because emotions matter a lot too, the psychological side of chess. So let them worry, let them feel like they are on the defensive side, and that you have the control, that you are the one dictating the game, and that helps a lot too.
Yeah, it's pressure. The pressure in chess is very real. You can feel, I'm not talking about viewers or something. I'm talking like the fact that pieces are staring at you is scary.
Yeah. Exactly. So that was a really good move, and well spotted that it would have been a trap to take the pawn, but still he pushed the pawn because he sees it's hanging, and it's a very logical response to it. Not a bad move. This position is still about equal, but you're the one that's causing problems, threats to your opponent. So he has to be reacting to your moves.
Yeah.
And after knight g4, you pushed e4. I was listening here in this moment. I remember about the pawn structure that you were like, if he takes, you can straighten your pawn structure so that you will not have double pawns anymore. Or maybe you will push later if he doesn't take.
Yeah, if he takes, I feel that would be best case scenario, because right now this guy is beyond useless, but his only purpose in life is to maybe become an e-pawn. So yeah, I feel the one thing he allows me to do is this advance, and that's worth something. So I pushed there, and I felt I thought about it for a while that if he takes, I'm super happy, and if he doesn't take, that's also all good.
Excellent thinking. And it's also good on a side note that you weren't afraid of this knight jumping to g4, because I started looking at the h2 pawn.
Yeah, at first I was thinking, oh, he has attacking ideas, but there's no bishop in the game. There's no one else joining for this. The rooks are far, and these guys are not involved. So as long as this guy is here, we're fine.
True. Haftar plays the knight on d7, which I think is a great square for the knight in general. Good developing move. But I was gonna ask you, if he plays that knight on c6, what would that change in the position?
Yeah, so this is where I remember they talked about this on the Hikaru analyzed this on the main stream, and Daniel, and they talked about how if he goes here, the threat is that this knight comes here and I cannot take. So yeah, I didn't think about this possibility before he moved the knight. But if he had moved this knight here, I think I would start. I think I would recognize the idea. It would be nasty. Would not be fun.
It's really good that you listen to the words, and also that you
again
would
I missed.
spot
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I missed that idea entirely in this situation. I did not see that.
Oh, you didn't have to consider it at all, because knight to c6 is not natural here. It just sets a trap that would be a really nasty trap to fall into.
Yeah.
So it's good that you weren't scared of this knight and queen, but you should have it in mind that because those are ganging up on the h2 pawn, there can be issues in the future. I call these, so for instance, in this position, with the knight and the queen hitting the h2 pawn, I call this h2 pawn a semi-loose piece or pawn, because it is protected in this moment, but it's attacked and defended with the same amount of pieces.
Yeah.
So it can be an issue. That is just to keep in mind. Yes, exactly. So if you look at the puzzles that you solve, almost every puzzle will be decided by loose or semi-loose pieces and the king. So the king situation, of course, in many puzzles is key. Many winning moves are based on the king in a checkmate pattern, fork, some kind of an attack against the king, or loose or semi-loose pieces. So a loose piece is the g4 knight that's not protected. You cannot always take advantage of those pieces, but it's good to detect those in terms of when you have a position. You look at your own loose and semi-loose pieces and make sure that they are safe.
Yeah.
And you can also always check what are the opponent's loose or semi-loose pieces. Here the g4 knight is loose, the a8 rook is loose, and you look at it, is there a pattern that you can use to win them? Unfortunately not, but in other positions there may be. So I think it's a good practice sometimes to look at the board, like where are the loose and semi-loose pieces, and to think of the semi-loose pieces. It's not an official chess term. I just started calling them semi-loose when it's a pawn like on h2. So this is semi-loose. Sure. And it's a potential danger in your camp because of ideas like the knight c6 move that tries to deflect the knight from f3, because that's your defender.
Can I ask about this? If he was to play this move, I have two candidate moves. I feel like one thing I could do is go here.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing I could do is to maybe just move my queen, and if he goes to take over here, then I could retake with this knight, and we have the same defense.
So you want to play e5 after that pawn is taken? Sorry, I
no.
misunderstood you first.
No. He moved. So on the time that he moved here, I'm considering
exactly.
which way would I react in this situation. I would probably consider going here.
Yeah.
And that's like one consideration. In which case, he would be unable to get here in time because I'm already on his queen. And he can't take because I have it covered twice. So I feel this just stops the idea that he has. Would that be better, or should basically would e5 be the better reaction to this move, or would it be better to do something else in this situation?
I think e5 is a great response as your first instinct that should be solving the issue, because it attacks the queen, blocks the diagonal, so there's no more threat on h2, and it wins the tempo too. So it's good that you deal with the threat by winning the tempo on the queen. So once the queen moves away, you can continue with your plan, possibly bringing the rook to the c file or any other ideas that you may have had in this moment. So good thinking.
Yeah.
Good thinking. And I know you were also mentioning when you were discussing the pawn structure that if you push e5, your pawns will still be doubled, but those double pawns really aren't bad because they are in the center and in one group. It would be worse if you didn't have an e pawn either, so that no c pawn, no e pawn,
isolated double. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When they are in a group, usually they are fine, and in the center it means that they are controlling a lot of squares. So because of having doubled pawns, you're controlling more squares than a straight pawn chain would.
Yeah, I guess it takes away more of his knight's possibilities. Oh, whoops, sorry, my headset is weird. I need to restart my headset. It just turns off sometimes, and I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
Think I'm back. Maybe.
Hello?
Yes. Okay, it works.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't want to hear about the isolated pawns. Doesn't like it.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Makes sense that the doubled pawn on this would be the worst potential, right? Having them doubled along the A or the H, because then they only have one contribution, and in the center they're controlling two relevant squares.
Very, very well spotted the difference if it's a flank pawn and if it's in the center. It's so much more useful. Well done. Okay. And later you use the c file. That's another advantage of having doubled pawns, is that in this position you haven't traded any pawns. Therefore, for black there is not a single semi-open file, but you have one because you have doubled your pawns.
True. Yeah. So I recognize that there's the semi-open file, so I definitely wanted to get a rook there quickly.
I think you moved there. So he played knight to d7, but it will be similar. You chased that knight away. That's good. Good thinking.
Yeah, that's my trap.
I remember you talking about this too, that he can only move it to h6, and he did it. He found it. The mountain found it. But it's unpleasant even like this because the knight is not standing well on h6.
Yeah, I think
since
this
is the only move that he had, but it's an ugly move to make. We'll just show to everyone that Nicholas was aiming for this fork. So this is a really good idea. And if the knight goes to h6, well, he's not losing the knight, but it's misplaced on the edge of the board.
Yeah. This is my intention fully, that I was hoping to get a fork, but he very quickly saw that he has to go here, and he didn't waste any time. He just got out.
Yes, Hafthor has been practicing a lot too, and I was surprised how quickly he played knight h6 because it's not a natural move.
Yeah, me too. I thought he would, consider more, but yeah, he was out.
Then you place the rook on the semi-open file. Well done. He took on e4 and you took back with the pawn, as you explained. You were going to straighten your pawn structure. And now he pushed f5.
This is why I called this a prison break, but on the mainstream they apparently got confused. They thought that I'm confusing pawn break and person break, but it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is the person break. He's getting out, or this way. So yeah, I see it as a jailbreaking your knight out of the way, which I'm sure is what he was thinking.
Yes, exactly. So you told me about the forget pawn, but here he wanted to get his knight back into the game. So in that sense, it's a good attempt, because if his knight stays on h6 for the rest of the game, that's almost like a virtual piece up for you. If your opponent has one terrible piece, just one, that they cannot activate, they cannot get back into the game, that really is like as if you had an extra piece on the board. You know that physically it's there, but it's not doing anything, so it's not helping your opponent. So that h6 knight, it could be even worse if it was on h8, but I mean there's always there's always room for making it worse. But on h6 already, it's pretty bad if he cannot get it back into the game.
Yeah, I felt like he has to do something, or else I can send an executioner here on the G pawn if I want to even. But there's no reason. The one thing I felt about him being here though, if he didn't push this, is that I could not make this pawn advance as naturally, because then I would allow eventually for him to come out. So I was thinking right now that okay, e4 is where you sit here pawn, but then he pushes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how you reacted to f5. You pushed immediately, and that's a great reaction. You're just making sure the knight doesn't hop back into the game just yet. You are winning a tempo again by attacking the queen. He played queen e7, which was a mistake, and you instantly spotted why it was a mistake.
Yeah, there's the pin coming.
Yeah, you captured the pawn and that pin on the 7th rank. I don't know if Levy or Danny mentioned, or you might have heard it also on Hikaru's channel, the power of the rooks on the 7th rank.
I've heard it. I've heard it as a principle that rooks on the 7th are like that's where they thrive. Basically, I don't really understand it as a concept fully, but I've just heard that it's good. So, I've tried to do it more.
Yeah, it's good that you heard of it, and I think it might help understand it even more if you think of it like, so from White's perspective it's the 7th rank, from Black's perspective the 2nd, obviously. Most of the pawns are on that rank.
Right.
That's where they start that from, and we don't always move all of our pawns. A lot of the pieces can be there too, and the king usually is in the back rank, which means that you're either cutting the king. If there were no pieces on d7 and e7, you would be cutting or directly attacking the king, the pawn on g7. Imagine the position without the queen on e7 and d7 for a moment. That would be an almost direct attack to the king on g7. But even with the pieces in between, so it's either that you are attacking your opponent's pieces or his king directly, or both, some of the pawns as well. And in general, it's very annoying because you are controlling a lot of squares in their camp. So you are right in their camp on the 7th rank is where a lot of their army is.
Can I ask? So I feel the only non-intuitive part for me about hearing the saying like rooks on the 7th, is it because having your rooks on the 8th would be nice, but they're obviously going to be traded by the opponent rooks, so that's why rooks on the 7th is more likely to be there and not get taken immediately, so they're actually doing stuff. Is that
very good question, and you answered your own question indeed. So unless it would be a situation where you are a rook or two rooks up, so if this is more for positions with equal material where this is easier to see the difference indeed, because normally yes, there are rooks on the back rank, so we would love to get to the back rank. I'm sure you have seen in the puzzles a lot of back rank mates.
Yes.
The pawn is not on f7 anymore, but the back rank can be an issue in many games. But it's true that it's so much more difficult to get to the back rank because that's where the opponent's rooks are. If you manage to place your rook on the 7th and double rooks, so if your rook can come next to c1, he played rook c8 to try to trade the rook, which is a very good idea to try to get rid of this annoying piece. But if he did not play that and you had the time to bring your other rook also to the c file, then you kind of you're preventing them from placing their rook on c8, and it will be very difficult to chase this rook away from c7.
Yeah.
So while you still cannot get to the back rank. You have 2 rooks on the open file, but you still cannot make it to the back rank. You are very comfortable on the 7th, and the spin is very annoying. The pawn on a7 is constantly hanging, so they can't really move the rook away without losing the pawn. There are a lot of issues in this position because of the rook on the 7th, and in general, that's why it's a strong concept. So yes, you answered your own question. Very, very good job with that.
I'm just, it's good to get, some things are like more like questions in my mind, and getting it verified, like, you know, getting to ask these questions and verify if the thinking is right is very good. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just first time I heard rooks on the 7th. I'm so confused. I was so confused why 7th is better than like 8th, because isn't that where you want to have them? But
yeah,
makes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense that the 8th is even stronger, and it can be if it's a back rank mate, but it's normally easier to make it to the 7th.
That makes sense.
Unless your opponent goes crazy and starts moving the rooks away from the back rank.
Sure.
But yeah, normally this is the way. And if you can double rooks on the 7th, that usually means you go Pac-Man mode and capture everything on the 7th.
Yeah.
So you either have something that's a really strong pin, or you just start capturing everything. Because imagine 2 rooks on the 7th attacking everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be devastating. Yeah.
It's great that you defended the rook, so that now if he takes, you'll once again have a rook on the 7th. So even if you didn't have 100% understanding on why that's good, you instinctively did it. You wanted to keep the rook there.
I'm just insisting. It's, for me, all I'm thinking here is that I can insist and have 2 rooks connected, and his rooks are connected but in the wrong way. They're connected here. I'm connected aggressively. So he just can't get out of the pin. Yeah.
Very good job. He moved queen to e8, and here you calculated a line that wins even more material. I was impressed because it's not that simple to spot immediately, I think.
Yeah, well, it prompts, when he moved like that, it prompted me to think about the exchange immediately, because if I don't take him now, he's gonna take me. Like it's one or the other. So I just started thinking, and it's always rooks taking first. The queen wants to be last, so rooks kill each other, his queen comes in, and then in the end I have check. At first I missed that I come in with check here, so at first I didn't see that it was good, but I saw it on the second run. I need to go through the calculation a few times when I think, because I miss stuff.
It's good that you double check it. It's better to double check than to hope that you could take back your move. So do check your calculation and then make the move. Still much better, as long as you have the time to do it, than regretting your choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely...
This was really nice, by the way, the knight jumped to c4 and coming to d6. You may have heard this being called an octopus. Not that it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't matter how it's called. It's strong. It's strong there.
Well, so why is it called? I haven't heard the expression. Is it just because it's central, or what?
I think it's combined with the fact that it's central. So a knight on, usually it's on d6 when it's called an octopus knight. But once again, I think the most important thing about it to know is that it's really powerful. If you have a knight in the opponent's camp placed like this, I think they call it the octopus because of, the squares you're highlighting, so many squares in your opponent's camp that are being attacked by this knight. Very difficult to get rid of that knight too if it's supported by a pawn, like the pawn on e5 is the base of this knight outpost.
Yeah.
And so this is a very powerful piece placement, and you went for it. Knight c4, knight to d6. Excellent.
I hadn't heard the expression outpost until recently. I saw what's his name, Critical, getting coached, and like hearing the expression. So is an outpost, what specifically calls it an outpost? Is it just that it's supported, or is it that it's supported and can't be challenged by pawns? Because that's what I'm thinking is super nice here.
Exactly. So an outpost, usually we say it's a knight outpost. Now, whether it's an octopus or not, so the octopus is one thing and an outpost can be another, or in this case it's both, because you have that knight on d6, which they call the octopus knight for how powerful it is. It's like as if it has 8 legs. It's that powerful. But yes, a knight outpost is, I would describe it in a way that it's a square in your opponent's position. Actually, let me... I was just thinking if I can change the position. Let me do that real quick if I change the position, because it would be easier. You still see the moves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna real quickly. It would... I don't know if this is the fastest, but I'm just gonna try to mess up the position later as fast as I can. Okay, I'm not making ideal moves here. I just want to get to a position where we will have an outpost.
Sure.
So let's say, okay, it's gonna take a few more moves.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's more about the concept than anything.
Yeah. So this position, this square on d5. That's a knight outpost, or outpost, because outposts are basically, we refer to them as a square for the knight. So first of all, it's a square in your opponent's position that's weak. It's weak because there's no pawn that can guard it. So black has pushed their pawns in a way that the d5 square can never be guarded by a pawn. There's no c pawn.
Yeah. So anyone who takes out the knight is going to be a piece. It has to be a piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's an outpost for your knight. It's a great square for your knight because no pawn can chase it away. And as you said, it would have to be a minor piece that needs to trade it. So in an ideal position, even if they trade it, you will try to keep that square for a piece. Even if they take your knight, you will try to take back with a piece so that this square keeps being yours. And then it means that this pawn on d6 keeps being vulnerable. That's a backward pawn. You can bring your rook to support the queen and attack that pawn. So you can use the square that's vulnerable, and the pawn chain usually is also vulnerable around that square. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna be right back and fill my water 1 second.
Sure.
I'll be back in a bit.
Now it's time for your questions, guys, because normally during these sessions, I'm always very focused on the students. I really appreciate all the subscriptions and all the cheers and all the questions in the chat, all the comments. It's awesome. I'm reading the chat always, but I also don't want to interrupt Nicholas. So if you have an urgent question, this is your chance. This is your chance. Oh, but please don't ask like complex chess questions now, because we'll need to continue with the lesson. But how are you doing? How's everyone doing today? Like easier questions. Also, I need to take my medication for my tooth issue, which is actually not on that side, but I don't know why I'm pointing at the one side that's the right one. I'm gonna take my chance to actually take my medication. My alarm was going off, but I was like, no, I don't think I want to be going for my tooth pills during the lesson. Oh, that's one down and two. Second one. Hafu will be joining us later. Unfortunately, I was in so much pain that I would not be able to be here if I didn't start taking the antibiotics. Thank you so much, Yara, for the subscription. Thanks a lot for that. I think I'll need to update the sub count. I'm still waiting on my dental treatment, but in the meantime, the antibiotics are helping. So that's something. That's something. I was in so much pain that I couldn't be on Hikaru's stream on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I was struggling. Levy knew it, but I didn't want to say it to the viewers. And Wednesday, I just simply couldn't do. I was in that much pain, unfortunately. I need to update the number. Hello.
Hello, I'm back. All right. so I got water. But that explains to me. I wasn't sure what just defined making an outpost. If it's just having a pawn behind your knight. Like, I've recognized there's often this sort of pawn structure where 2 pawns are advanced or gone, and that you're just deep in there and hard to challenge.
Exactly, hard to challenge. No pawn can chase it away. It doesn't win the game, but strategically, it's a really good spot to aim for, especially for a knight. So weak squares in your opponent's position can often be exploited by a knight, especially if it's a central square, because knights are short-range pieces. So if it was a weak square on the edge of the board, it may not be that useful for your piece. But in the center, which is like the most important part of the board, I'm sure you heard of that many times. So a knight can be excellent in a central square like this.
Yeah, and it's extra true for some pieces, right? Because I watched some video just showing possible moves for any piece in chess based on where they're standing, visualized, and how for the queen and for the bishop and the knights, obviously thrive so much, but for a rook, it's a little bit different because they have the same. If they're standing in the side, they still have the same range as if they're standing in the center. Exactly. Yeah, but okay, yeah. So makes great sense to me.
And by the way, you don't need to know these names at all. If you're just saying it because usually if it has a name, it's important for a reason. So like you don't have to recall the octopus knight or a knight outpost or backward pawn. It's just simply normally the things that have a name, that's because there's an importance to that structure, to the knight placement. So it's more about knowing that's important for a reason, not because of the name. You can call it however you want. It's just more about knowing that a knight on the 6th rank here in the center on d6, that's a really powerful piece. I call that a beast. That's more than a knight. That's definitely worth more than a knight.
Yeah. I just had eyes on doing this, but also with hitting this. So he just steps in, and my first thought was that if I just move my knight in, he probably will have to move his queen, but then maybe I win the knight. That was as simple as the plan was.
Which is really good thinking too. And you were looking at that knight on d7, the queen is hanging. You also spotted the potential check on f7, and he basically set the pieces ready for a photo finish here.
It's my first ever. It's my first ever smothered mate. I've never had one.
Is it?
Yes.
Aww.
It's
congratulations.
I was very, very happy that I did not miss that. I would have kicked myself if I didn't finish the game there.
Yeah, I'm sure that others would have been just happy taking the queen, but you spotted that there's something better than capturing the queen.
Yeah, it's the puzzle mentality. Puzzles can get irritating at some point because it's always look for better. You do a puzzle and you're like, oh, I win a queen. And it's like, nope, you're bad. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm bad?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Oh, I don't like those positions when it's already winning and you just need. I mean, it's useful for the pattern, but you are right. Like sometimes, the position is winning already.
Teaches a mentality, I guess. It's good to always look for the best move, I guess.
Yeah, I think my least favorite puzzles is on chess.com. They don't have that type, but there are puzzle books that I used to solve as when I was still a kid, and the computer chess wasn't that big just yet. So I had all these puzzle books, and some of them would be just like mate in 4, and you can easily spot a mate in 5 or 6 or 7, but they were forcing you to find it in 4, which I think wasn't really practical, because a checkmate is still checkmate even if it takes you a move or 2 later. Like it's still a forcing line. But
if it's a forced mate in 5, then I don't see the. But okay.
Yeah, so that wasn't really practical. It was more for like the art behind it, because there was only one line that would be mate in 4 and maybe 3 lines that are mate in 6.
That sounds frustrating to do. I mean, as long as the move is forcing to mate, then I think I would definitely feel irritated if that's not as good. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. These were excellent games. I thought that even though there's of course always room for improvement, and we were looking at the few moves where you could have improved, especially in game one, but overall you played excellent chess. You really controlled the tournament situation very well. You said that your tournament experience from Dota must be helping, because you didn't seem nervous at all, even when you went down on time. You spotted your tactical chances, and you won the match very convincingly.
I think I was more nervous in the 15 minutes before we started, and also perhaps in the first 5 minutes of the first game. I was sweating and I was nervous, and my hands were my palms were sweaty. So definitely there was nerves, but I think after the first game as well, I felt much more comfortable going into the game two, knowing that I'm one game up.
That makes sense. I did not notice the pre-match nerves, but you handled it very well. Maybe you just need to make that first move on the board, and then you were already just so much focused on the game that it didn't matter that this is your first ever chess tournament.
It is. Honestly, I told myself something before the tournament started. When I was starting to get sweaty and nervous, I just told myself that the same thing would happen as when I cast the grand final, or the international. At one point, so international is our biggest tournament, right? Yeah. And at one point I was casting international. We had over 700,000 viewers, and it's scary to think about it like that, and going on stage and casting. So, but the moment I look down and look on the screen and look at the game, it's like you forget everything. So I told myself the same will happen. I will look at the chessboard, and then we'll be fine. It wasn't really true, because I'm not comfortable with chess yet. So it didn't. In Dota, I can look at Dota and I'm so confident. But here, at least I was focused on the game and not on anything else.
You did very well. You dealt very well with that nervousness, and it's just amazing to see how, once again, you can use your Dota experience for a chess tournament with all the similarities that you have mentioned. I'm really impressed with your progress, knowing that you've been studying basically for 10 days approximately. You had one session with Danny, one session with Levy, and now today's one. I'm very happy to help you in the future too. I will need to be going soon, but if you have any more questions, any questions regarding these games or anything else you had in mind, do let me know now, and we can also schedule another session for tomorrow, the day after, whenever you have the time.
Yeah, we can look to do more of this. I really appreciate all the help that I can get. I don't have any question right now that I can think of, but if I come up with something, and I mean, it's a long running tournament, so we'll have more chances for more training sessions.
Exactly. You let me know how's your schedule, and we'll figure out something, whether it's before your next game or during the event. You let me know when you prefer to train more.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do a lot of preparation for, now that I'm up on game, I'm gonna try and aim for the winner bracket, and I'll try and prepare to be strong when I go into the winner bracket. So so yeah, maybe we'll find time, but there'll be plenty of time until the group stage is over.
Exactly, and that will be the biggest thing, the championship bracket. There are still 2 more matches until then, but you clearly showed that you are the favorite in your group, so I don't think you are worried about qualifying to the championship bracket.
Yeah, I just need 1 win, so I feel confident. I want the win on the group too. I want to win the group because there's incentive. There's $1,000 to win the group, and exactly. I got bills to pay. I'm doing this for the money. No, I'm doing it because it's fun, but also the money.
It's good if it's both. It's a means of income, but you're also having a good time, and you're learning new skills. You're improving at a game that now we know you've been following chess as a viewer for a few years, but now you're a competitor in one of the biggest chess events during the year 2020. So well done.
That's so funny. PogChamps is a great event. That's a very cool idea.
It is.
good fun.
It is. I really enjoyed the first one. Shout out to Hikaru, the team of chess.com, and everyone who made this possible, because really it is amazing. And you guys who are the participants, I was told that PogChamps 2 is gonna be easier than PogChamps 1 in a sense that they were trying to get even more beginners in the field, so that is there's not much experience.
Yeah.
And the ratings would be lower for everyone. Then all of you started studying, and it's like, this is not easier. Everyone is so determined, so hardworking. Like many of
but I
you.
think it comes from PogChamps 1, because a lot of us watched PogChamps 1 and we saw, you know, the games, and everyone is already a little bit hyped from PogChamps 1. So you know, we're all beginners pretty much, but we're eager to learn. I mean, big shout out to your next student of tonight, itshafu. She's put in more work than anyone. Like, it's amazing. It's good fun.
It is really impressive how much Hafu has been putting into her chess studies. She really started the moment she got into the tournament, so that's 4 weeks, 8 to 12 hours a day. But yeah, very impressive. And you are using your experience from watching Hikaru streams, from watching the chess bros, so that's also great to have. I'm trying to convert my idle watching of chess into something practical now. But chat, shut up. I've been working hard the last week at least, chat. Stop it. He has been working hard. Guys, stop. Just because, look, I know, like, a lot of the viewers also just bring up the fact that Hafu has been streaming 8 to 12 hours a day, chess and only chess, and most of the participants stick to their main game, their main content, and then have coaching sessions sometimes, or study outside streams. It's not obligatory to have coaching sessions on stream. You've been solving puzzles, so your main practice has been solving puzzles, which is also super useful.
Yeah, I'm glad, because, you know, I feel like it just teaches you to think and move pieces and like do captures and things. So I'm learning, and I mean, I want to say at first here too that I did a few days where I did 7 or 8 hours of, like, 7 hours of puzzles and 1 hour of playing chess. It's hard. That's hard. Like, my brain is not used to that. It does not work that way. I've done, like, for reference, I've done 43 hours of Dota in a row without a break. I've done 40 plus hour streams, and, like, sure, that's exhausting, but 24 hours of Dota does not even really exhaust me that much. I can still, you know, think. 8 hours of chess is draining. It felt like I had done a 24-hour stream at that point. So it's activating.
I know the pain. Yeah.
I know the
pain. Yeah, but you're doing a great job. I did watch some of that VOD as well. I was trying to catch up with what you've been doing so far, so that I'm prepared for it today, to know what you have learned already. And I saw that stream too. That was insane. Like, and I agree with you. I don't know how Hafu does it. She's a machine. She's amazing. I'm super impressed. Yeah. Okay, but thank you so much for the coaching. I guess I'm going to try and internalize this and actually remember stuff. I hope it helps. And keep solving the puzzles, because that has been helping you spot tactical ideas very quickly, which is important. Spotting them is the first thing, and spotting them faster, even better. So that it clearly shows that you've been grinding a lot in puzzles. It showed yesterday too, when you were playing, how easily it came to you, that you had those tactical motives when it came to winning the pawn, a piece, or even when Haftar was threatening checkmate on g7, and the defense too is a tactical sequence of defending the knight on h5.
Yeah. No, Puzzle Rush will be the next thing to work on speed, because I'm still not solving the puzzles very fast. I have solved hard puzzles, but I need to yeah, speed is the next thing to get really confident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the next step is that, as you said, puzzle rush and maybe some more blitz games with Storm and Matthew and whoever else give volunteers.
Yes, actually playing chess. Yes, that's also probably a good idea. Yeah.
But really good job, and do let me know if you want to train next week at any point.
We'll schedule a new session
somehow.
I'll reach out to you. Yeah.
Have a nice day, and bye everyone on Nicholas's channel too. Really nice meeting you.
Yeah, goodbye to ANNACHESS and your chat, which was amazing to watch the perspective yesterday. So have a.
Oh, wait a second. Before I say bye, if you're still here, I learned from the Danny coaching that since now I'm a subscriber, the emote to spam first and foremost is the mango.
Yeah, yes.
Let me spam the mango.
My mango, yeah, there it is. It's just someone put my face on the mango from Dora. It's my most personal emote. There's also the hey emote is pretty good. It's my favorite hero. Which on a short side note I call the Waga hey.
This one.
Yeah.
Am I spamming the right one?
Yeah, that one. Anytime. So she actually, I'll give you some short thing before we leave then, is that the main hero I play in Dota, I have probably over 3,000 hours of just playing that one hero. And there's over 100 heroes in Dota, right? So this is my main hero. And she works a bit like a bishop or a queen. She sideblade stuff is what it's called. She attacks something and whatever is behind it also gets attacked. So I call pins sideblade, because you line them up, and yeah, so it works like my hero. It's good.
That makes sense. I'm learning a lot, and I love to see when there's a comparison that you guys bring in new terms into the chess world.
Yeah, new things coming. All right, have an awesome evening. Goodbye.
Likewise, and do check out the streams of Nicholas in general and the VOD of today. If you want to see the eye tracker, you see the goals there. That's the eye tracker, and it's really cool. It really is impressive.
Yep.
Talk to you later, Nicholas, and all the best with the grind and the blitz games.
Yeah, goodbye. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so yeah, checkmate is lethal. Yeah, you have the wooden shield. You got the rook bros. What else do you have? Got a lot of good terminology coming in. You got the side blades. A pin can also be called a stun. Sort of. Yeah. A fork is like a Grimstroke ulti. You got two people. That was awesome. Yeah, it was great. It's very, very nice. Hikaru hyped you up a bit. He hyped me up too much. He saw game 2 and he thinks that I'm really good, but he doesn't understand that I'm new to this. I want to learn, so I really want to soak up information and get better. My ego is huge right now, though. I don't think they understand. I come from Dota. I come from a world where you don't give compliments. You harass and you berate your teammates and opponents alike. And anyone who gives out a compliment, it's never been seen before in Dota. So the fact that I'm now getting compliments from literally the top level players in chess, my ego was so big I couldn't even stay indoors yesterday. I had to go for a run just because I couldn't be contained within these walls. They don't understand my personality as well. Like, you don't want to feed my ego. It's big enough as it is. I remember even when I was rank 1 in Dota, dude, I was still being told how shit I was. Like 99% of the comments that I got about my play was still about how bad they were. It's not like Dota is a community that compliments people. So yeah, so I think that it's very alien to me. But yeah, years of Ramses abusing me. Yeah, I mean, I was memeing with Mordecai about it, chat. I was talking to Mordecai last night, and as I...
Here's a compliment. You still slept with Dodi Kappa.
Thank you, Johnny. No, I talked to Mordecai last night, and I told him like this is so weird getting compliments. I'm not used to this, and that I said to him that I'm gonna get coached by Anna, and that people say, and she say it herself, that she's a harsh coach, and I said, what the hell is harsh when you come from the desolate wastelands that is Dota 2 matchmaking, and that if she doesn't tell me to kill myself at least once, then I'm firing her. So. It's, I mean, I really enjoyed the coaching session, but it's just a stark contrast. All right. Well, this session will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Massive thanks to Anna, and her community seems absolutely amazing. I'm actually gonna host you guys over to Anna right now, and I'm gonna go make sure that that we have something to eat, and then I'll come back and I'll probably do more stream then. So my stream will be back in a little bit, but until then, if Anna is still alive, which she seems to be, I'm gonna host over to her, leave you guys there. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you around later today, probably pretty soon. Just need a short dinner break, you could say. So see you in a bit. Yeah, get ready for a raid.